Good morning, Salot ina dlanot agabine zu no baho ala dun zinega Dene Yati podcast or with ana dlina si Willis Jean Viehushe in Telas Tours in Lawash, Saskatchewan. Clearwater River Dene Nation band member the Heslio and dun zinega Treaty 4 territorials in all huntati dana dlina once again Thursday morning duna as another Oiler and Avalanche game. Maybe Oilers will take tonight's game, but who knows, eh? Doon zinnig in our guest, it is Sean Cheecham. We know the Clearwater River Dene Nation. It's a counselor. Helian do. Ashton a sign nenes on June 2nd, about June 24th, and he's not the election he lay last year, but doing it, yeah, that's a day see that I own at the training, employment, housing, and all that stuff. I know is going to be a few weeks day, treaty days, ala 1 week long. Ani Chief Teddy Clark Bahalya ITU, and of course industry and mining because on either IBA on Bahalya ITU and Honeseta that's a Daisy and anything else in between. So questions, what's in it. Don't be shy to ask. I'm sure this is going to be a long info session for sure. Nezula just to come out and a lot of I know app and that's a day some for band members, but it's not out yet. So this is another good way to talk to your counselor and learn more about Aussie. So don't be shy to ask any questions. And yeah, masicho nuhabaho auntesa. Good morning, Michael Hart. Alrighty, kudun zinege Sean Cheecham Atlantic Sean.
Så stille. Willis, kunnen dat dat?
Und ila hurl yawasi.
Earlier, the allo ya dit sich hoda na in legale. Du musst auch ja hoda today.
Yeah, do they seem to the last 3 days about nicht see hurl ba ano sa alcohol it's just always the same nicht see not sure. But anyways, welcome. Good morning, Sean. Durit don't sign nene who's there la yeah counselor and it's do let me see not there do the your band boss.
Well, the one year that nene din die dat se ba the thing laborator on den halde iltje. Wat ad den halde iltje man den haldo die hun nu ja do ile und holle holla sur il crew. Want den haddo sníú an a ro kon tú sní kon opel lang ko het die alle. Den dit in hiet I daar sní garo daar jet hi daar stile hon die kon tú stile hon user klille teamba a en nu ni den hal jet hiú den haldoil ni le konno dit an aan. So li chat ja den haldos ja dabonus is employment and training. So drug and alcohol is St. John's. I was helping a couple of people with that, but yeah, safety ticket training. Dahil seen lesan ani. Last year we did another one. Dahil seen Leo did this year. They didn't see hello. Probably see hold the road the treaty days who yeah told yeah Saint Anne who yeah dying lady you kind of didn't stand so then a Sandor occurred maybe August had in a stand says he said the guards are seen hola I look at it know the as instant yeah post secondary coordinator to have up yeah advertiser that he yell we se cool to another to post secondary education cause it they hala dala na yeah the another is I said y'all May 13th of a line is standing the advertisement. So saw and deals in a standing this week or next week a Bondi LQ is not hot then another is a sinister. So post secondary schooling no data yeah shown then hal see see shown we were not the on a delu the had the post-secondary coordinator they come to yeah they meant I usually be I come to the hada la na hadari and so then I post-secondary come to school that they come to the hala and other bands they come to you got there so we want us to go that way too again that it does sin lo see come to kono the ha arsine honestano council Ashabandi il tio tungono di ona so kuntubano te um band staff band the dokadala nalo si iti evaluations u training u qualifications u pay scale u huntu or the hadari then it they lose huntu kodel di hadari um huntu it's of mutual benefit snila is about band shoot and the nalo see they get better training better education, then typically that leads to more pay. But as they say, non tao hunto as they say, to make it comprehensive or band. So it then there's a couple of positions that then that are important to me and important to us. HR, human resources. So no the road to policy positive to hunti see so no they or tanol der tahun anta tanto hudi del ha asni hala to HR at ala nade dine being I policy or that policy ISTO der sono der then kontu kontu del das dansa henni feni konti at this dila HR so it hanadari is hadari CFO chief financial officer accountant or someone with an accredited background there's a few things that are developing, some and clear has new and government in hello. We need to have a trained person in that position, whether we train internally or we find someone already trained, but we're going to make sure that we have a qualified person as a CFO. Already hired the housing manager, Henedari Tisu, health coordinator. There's a few part-time and positions that we transitioned to full-time. NADAP coordinator, addictions counselor, hunt the positions. Funding then we hire those positions and we fill those positions. Some of the key ones being a health coordinator and housing manager. And we'll get into housing in a bit. Employment and training, who's Sao, and then we can housing again is a big topic as well. But a good thing that we're talking about doing that we will do that we're planning on. I can't predict the future, but we're committed to doing is the Dene Teacher Education Program, DTEP. So there was 23 graduates, I think there was.
24.
24, yes, it's a big program. I didn't know much about it, of course, with McMurray doing my own thing and all this other stuff. But to my knowledge, the programs for nursery to grade 12 to be taught in the same building for DTEP. When these teachers they can teach the nursery to grade 12 teachers to have that in the same building and have it in the same program to be taught specifically or geared towards the Dene language and culture is one of a kind. So in North America, probably or in the world. I know there's it's that program, Australia, it's Anthony, they have a similar program like that. But other First Nations, and as a band, their model, using this program as a model for their culture or their language or they can adopt the program and they're trying to do that program. So again, that's a one of a kind thing that the and almost all of those graduates I mean There's, I think, one of them that didn't pursue the field of education for employment. But now, so it works. So we wanted to do it again. So a little tidbit of information about the DTEP program. Chief and Counselor at you, Delsi Hadaril in the reading, Tampa Dino Hola Tampa, I don't I would say get the real gain Hola. After Handari Dilis and another no Kuro. So it's important. Daily, especially in the community. Naturin Alwyn schools and the guys, then called on night school car in Yao told them to, then a cool school cuts at Delola. So it's a very big program. It's a 4-year program. Bachelor's of Education with focus of instruction in the Dene language and culture. It's a jointly funded program. I have to give a shout out to the Saskatchewan government that have again selected to pay half for this program, and the other half will come from the band. It's not a cheap program, some papaza. It's expensive. So they have the second program that they have they have approved for funding. So thank you for that to them. There's a couple cultural camps. I didn't get exactly how that looks, but there's a couple cultural programs within this program. School net day I know there's I think today is the last day. Then an interview what I'll do, then application process on Balang Halder. So the interview process doing this today is the last day, I'm pretty sure. 30th, 31st, and the 1st. I'm pretty sure it's the 1st. No, it's done yesterday. So Balang Halder. So people will be told once the applications are all or the interviews are all looked at and I don't know. Typically Chief and Council will pick, but we're not educators either. So the other principal, vice principal, and then lastly on that, the instructors will be from U of R and First Nations University with local instructors when possible. But again, it's a very good program. Get taught in your community, in your language. You have an opportunity to speak within the North at least. And, we can't have positions for every teacher, right? But to teach in your own kids, in your own community, in your own language is a very big thing.
I just want to point out to Dene Sutlene that you're right. It is very important. Dene Adeline. I don't think people see how much value it is and education. Dene. One of the things I want to point out, they see I go to the same university and Sabaho Island. They see Dene arrest is erased. Deno Denedist asa. But Sabaho and there is no class available unless I go, and I can't even switch to northern campus. So don't you see Harut Zare? It is very important, and it's not only about the children. Then adults nowadays, 60 scoop residential school, foster care, and TC. They're trying to find that at so it's very important. The Harut Zare for this DTEP program.
Yeah, and that it didn't see the cost a whole like then I can get by. Maybe not and a few different things that I don't know what can see. But what about those that or to want to it's at least that silent all and say it takes a long time.
Yeah.
So then that DTEP would deal see. Oh, Sean, like texting or with messenger and to a direct is a dinner. Oh, Sean, like the DTEP would did because the direct is the direct deno, the ballad data holiday, it is on Nazo, I then it had, hade nästan inte jag kunde ut den ständer it lite kunde ut det isn't den jag understand he did den ita ansi det går shane leo but that ud is very important you know the know how you tiu kunde ut den där it leso kunde ut en need daily ha that's a very big thing especially bilinguals English or whatever language the other language or two languages are yeah it's a very big part of our lives and it should stay. It has to stay a part of our lives. We have to if the people coming behind us and then some that are ahead of us want to then I want hadan kanil de well no you know as I get older and then as I see the I can see that you know then how you tire na his kuti then up how you tire you then kati you like you get old dinu to ya on see so for Nilu I know where the world is now you know technology and to how they you then I till YouTube to see it today I get it I understand that you have it or the ahoni then honest so these kind of programs and you know the higher and the DTEP program that had kind of that's it is important. It's very important. The uses, you know, the translations. I see there's a lot of uses for that. So don't give up. Don't get discouraged. You know, this weekend. You know, don't what then I don't what then I can't as it's a you know the na kon ba kon na haya tishin ni wasa za tiu and hun ade ni lai to see the tubanesni so tadi so ta hul da ho you know and the I ilu then yes hit ilu so they knew you know and there yeah kon was how they el tiu a aber has then I you know and don't be shy just ilan and leo to is ilari ni ha deals and that's a deal now did it and just keep on going. That's how I that can't over has done it. So I understand. So 12 has a go to the est here Johnny's so then I'm using Yena set at the door on that. So yeah, adult upgrading. Can I get into that, Willis?
Yeah, no, that nabaho on that easy. I know you've got a long list, so
yeah, and we don't have a whole much time here, but so adult upgrading. So don't older had a adult upgrading. Dan hadan al kanu safety tickets snilata Alberta didn't a date high what's an safety tickets neon it's about sale huntu yana but huntu safety ticket the yin then hadan al kande knowing their resume hutli apply at the jare while grade 12 net sina dan you la da the disha dan sha but I the whole he companies they that you didn't able to and two ya see and I'm not saying the grade 12 you had delayed and I see no sailors and seen it. That's not what I'm saying. But then unet yung grade 12 upgrading to hotli safety tickets, the hotli drivers edu, yeah, I see hotli there. Then but I see you have your grade 12, you have the safety tickets, you have a driver's license, and you can go. Because driver's license that's clear because you're driving equipment, you're driving vehicles, and you file and all that. So to Horum and while they're hot there's a you know Horum safety tickets who are mercy color drop out class tall dollars the new school as a sni cha adult upgrading the they'll see how dirty a two a teacher and it read is don't get them hold on and they see that's down to the then green chai choice you know during the color the hold on and honey the contour no need that's the then but in some bout who see who in they so instructor who in so for that position yeah he applied that job and interview dal job did so we're gonna we re-advertised and we're gonna look for uh, an instructor for that course Yeah, the program that oboni the hadanit and the August day then the boni the hadanit then. So then I apply and jaw the clode boni the adlan and your date halosan only then. So like I said, things change, things might shift a little bit. August in Ninia, do then these and this then I say.
Cool. It's on a thought leader upgrading program.
But do they know?
Lani thought leader upgrading program. Is it for like a school year, Lani?
I think it is. I didn't ask that. That's a good question, actually. So yeah, the program. So you'll have to do 7 high school courses. Yeah, that will be offered. English A and B 30, Native Studies 30, Science 20, Math 20, and 2 level electives, 30 level electives. So it sounds like a full year
Mm-hmm.
that would happen. But I'm gonna school nasa, so I'll ask that and see how long that the course is. But within that CRDS staff, the atadani konto the ho enu to instructor ninga do to dan ano si yeah they're gonna pitch in atadani abani bani yini atadani so we ask a lot of the staff at CRDS with these courses especially we will ask a lot of them um, there are and have been changes to CRDS administration. Dixie Janvier, vice principal, have another issue. Mark Klein, retire Eja. So Barb, you have another issue. Now we have a position open for Dixie. For Dixie Zane on some, but we interviewed and we hired her for that position. So Mark retired after I don't know, I think 32 years, I think in the business and education. Reserve got 25 years to now, and he decided that we need somebody that hasn't been doing it as long as he has, and it did not do. Some of her canon that he clean law, this you see any. So I'm starting neither, Rusty college city, that has seriously was seriously handy to shelter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the changes that those are the changes that have happened. The administration health. So we want them to bring new vision, new life, new outlook, and it's not only up to them. It has a lot to do with the students. It has a lot to do with the parents, um, and attendance. There's a school that dilu consistently school that's a dil. That about see honi the that school year honi the uto so no the uto school that's a dil ahelu. It needs to be consistent. They need to go to school all the time. That support needs to be there from chief and council and band staff and administration as well. We got a big task ahead of us. And we've talked about that. School because our numbers are very low. Then it's nahi school towns and school not deal. Reserve town or the reserve school not deal, and nahi school not dili long. So I asked the guardians and parents and students to really take a look at that. Education is very important. Do you use every little thing that you're taught in school when you get out and you get into the real world? No. Is there a lot of it that you use and a lot of it that you wished you paid attention to a little bit more? Yes. Honest and that. You're kuntu hudi yawd and tuun huda saha o shanide asung that the sadi high school nestantly different courses or different little things that kont ala that in a senior yan that then had a date school night date that day so they can gear your courses towards your career path. Scientists do want to see and they say then you'd have to take lot of math courses and that kind of stuff. So, thank you to Mark, I guess I should say, and I'm going to see. I saw him already, and I'm going to see him tomorrow. But yeah, thank you for your service with Clearwater Band and CRDS. And it's not an easy task, no matter what anyone says, until they've done 25 years of the same job, with multiple people coming in as chief and counsel and different teachers and COVID and sicknesses. And, man, holding a job for 25 years is hard enough, to pass to, or an accomplishment. To do it in our school is another. So, merci to see with to Mark. Lastly, on that topic is, like I said, post-secondary student encouragement, maybe a dinner, or, I don't know how that works because different areas, and that's a deal at a school, and that's a day, mostly in Saskatoon and Prince Albert, I believe. I don't know exactly what the ratio or the numbers are, but you can't do down, and the how the tune about how down as how yet he the young Holland but burnout sneak, sneak all. That's what I want to do. I'm not going to say that others don't or others do, but then highest tila. So that we'll see how that plays out. Education is, and all forms of education are important to chief and council. I know that for a fact. So Dale show has an ascendant how on and we are see one day driver's education training. So council then send us present us how it's not, it's in it, but it's not $5 either. So they'll see how that's seen. Yeah, for to kind of complete the circle, then and work hard day do and whatever your situation is. So I want to do something like that. So chief and council, we haven't had an opportunity bonding on it. So include their time, then we'll see what happens, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't. If it does, then it does. And then on education and training, yeah, we're gonna meet. Chief and council is gonna meet with next gen of Dom that's a separate subject, but yeah, contracting and employment offices, or an office to John Hook and on reserve as a regional, so it's a dilu, and however that works. Need so employment base and a new training on and see the phone then. So you can look forward to that. The hospital is we in a couple weeks, I think, or next week. I think it's next week. But the other one was post-secondary coordinator. So we're good on that one. I don't know if you have any questions with us.
No, it sounds like I know we're gonna be leading up to it because I gima kambalia the IBA, and it sounds like say that's a day, for industry and that day, but cool culture and recreation ba se kondi si dlahu Clearwater.
So culture and recreation, there's a few initiatives. That's a big one. Then the idea, the apps need it would it's any honey. So but culture and recreation day, yeah, there's one part that I'm talking to council proposal this the last year, yeah, community canoe trip. Then also cool, yeah, for the daily has, it's not set in stone, approved collector season. So don't add needing to do it. But if a council approves it and we talk about it, and maybe we'll change the location or whatever, on south, but Patterson Lake and Mirror River, Clearwater, Lloyd Lake system, your Kodi Delu, I think a 5 or 6 day trip with about 30 people on a few boats, a few canoes, guides and the cook and that kind of stuff. The thinking behind it is that it's a cool. So cool. Say if you go with your child, I would like to see a parent and child or guardian and child in a canoe. If you have trouble or you have communication problems or whatever it is, if you don't have that opportunity, say, it's not that 5 minutes or had school to work on it, see, you put a couple people in a canoe for 5 days, and you have that communication. It's not only that. Get out in the bush. Then setting nets and just the canoeing and spending time together out there with 30 people. Have a good time that people haven't had an opportunity to do that. So again, it's not cheap. It's not it's just an easy little thing that you can just go and you're done in a day. You're taking people out in the bush for almost a week. So we're looking at August. Like I said, I don't want to get that clear out in June and July. So we're looking at that next gen. It's a that community liaison, that community manager or from next gen. And it's a day deal with IBA on it here. IBA on this section 6 or something like that. So that's one good thing to look into or look forward to in the near future. Hopefully, prove it y'all until another day, right? We can't predict the future, but we're planning on it. Yeah. Another one is treaty days that we're talking about. I don't think we advertise quite yet on the poster. We're gonna have to do that here right away because it's in a few days, a couple weeks. Sorry. So treaty days, we talked about making that into a 6-day event. 3 days event. So we're doubling the length of that. Double the length is double the cost, double the exposure, double, right? So it's expensive. There's a lot of people that have to stay focused and engaged and for a long time, right? Doing a 6-day event is a hard thing. One day just try so it's a birthday party, go one day, go then it seems like that trying to take care of 30 kids, So it's a big investment in the and then once that and that are in large result COVID I help to and we want to make a big event out of it. See, we haven't 100% their nearly hasnina, but the monster truck and paddling and those kind of boards we're talking about and stuff like that. Vendors, different vendors and mud bog and all that good stuff. The popular events that were there before, and we want to do those. And maybe the events that weren't so popular, we're switching out with other ones that we've learned along the way. So most of that you can go through Clifford being our recreation portfolio holder, and we've had meetings about that, and it should be a really good event for treaty days.
I know Farron Janvier,
Oh, yeah.
I believe.
Yep.
Already you can rent paddle boats. I believe $50 deposit next year for a couple hours. Anyways, Conti see your Clearwater North data. You can go check it out. Maybe canoes too, I think. But I saw the paddle boards for sure.
Yeah. So fair and recreation, that's true too. I should actually direct people to Farron because he's working in recreation. So I apologize for that. But him and Tamara they kind of work together with Jordan's principal at honestly with Jordan's principal to do some of these events, to put on bingos and other events. A lot of that stuff is posted on our CRDN Facebook page. the pedal boats that you're talking about.
Pedal boats,
Yeah, be it a tao yeah bicycle game called Kazawa Country only. So with that, it's all it is a deposit. It's not doesn't cost you anything to rent it, but $50 hal ni gadezan kont o hil chu bal the called so kont o hil chu you got a 2 hour limit. Hour, you're rating you get your $50 deposit back after you bring it back on time. If you don't bring it back on time, or then we start talking about deposits and talking about, well, where's the pedal boat? They're not cheap. I know they're not cheap. I looked into buying some personally, and they're not. I'm not saying they're $100,000, but they're not cheap. And we want to take care of that stuff. So yeah, I've seen on Facebook, yeah, then Dal chao dan da kon another his new that the how got does it then phone on yaw lias you got to take care of your stuff. It's accountability, right? So you add at the when they posted that on there. But it's fun. It's fun for people. You get life jackets. You get a 2 hour limit on all for nothing. You just show up with $50. You get $50 back when you bring it back on time. So that's one thing.
Nezu. Good stuff. Could the ani treaty daisy I tila da see and Nesedlant ibase information that's in your Sean.
I think we'll get into. There's a couple of things here. Let's go into housing and infrastructure. Just dive right into that one. So the housing, it's a big issue. It always, hopefully it doesn't. It's not always a big issue, but really cha. We've been trying to set up a proper process for housing, and I'm not saying I have the magic wand that's going to fix the housing process. It's going to take effort from everybody. So effort from everybody is meaning the staff, us, chief and council, and tenants that live in the houses. So housing process, let's just a quick rundown. Application sale you that we call materials day. Then it's got those sale or materials or shadowed as guess that they about or so commander I have no delu and or don't see the on the application. Application say yeah materials so you can that but the do see I priority the because nahi deno sat so seo to see it's new to ya so no okay please so seo no chu snide. Okay, well, what settles it actually that day. So we can't always give everything to everybody for many reasons. So, but the do it, prioritize or say, if you want to write a letter with it, explaining whatever, write a letter, then that's up to you guys. Housing, but our south that's the way it's supposed to go. Council the boxes you shot all that and take it out. We're going to give it to housing anyway. The main So we're trying to set it up that housing day goes through housing. If we're ordering stuff, if we're purchasing stuff, it goes through housing. If we're tracking then the bond yaw then you see housing who cleared as a one clear some targets and route to the steel so cost will lead and then but the date in but as is only need on day then we tailu then but the halawon today so no need on day because and there's still a few things that there's like during the vehicles during today a call on away the young girls you have to stop in counts and then you can go again so that's just a little bit of the process prioritizing housing Dan chudu to that da asnedu to the so cool ayan liu to or ya dan liu to dan to prioritize ya lo si. I say in Leo and then chief and council I Leo, this is the priority list and no control then it then whole cow, and then chief and council then budget gara dan to the whole cow say they he'll go they say they so that's a bit of the process that happens. Chief and council
housing.
Miles Make and Alvin Piche. Miles is a housing manager, and Alvin, I don't know, I don't think we've given him a title yet. There's no sign of Ninga on you, but the Ninga Helutuar, I'm not really sure. It's been a while. But there's two of them in there now. So Facebook at the on their numbers, they have no problem taking calls. Be respectful, then for the phone and then it's a lot to take. And I understand, right? I understand. I say they'll take and do the application. Allah then you're at on it. Application says last on after any. I understand then it could need then. And had an older road, con older this not the scenes are seen of had an older low seat. I was clue I can only help with what is going on now. So it can't do that's that this has to be done properly. I'm not saying emergency pass they phone this will shake what Davis scenes are seen it. So no there will see day then we're gonna jump on it and we're gonna get it done emergency pass. We only have so many people that can do the work. It's not a perfect thing. It'll never be a perfect thing, but it's a work in progress. So people have to work with us on that as well. Working with us on that, the same that is letter then a housing tenant letters. We then I think we budget meeting housing meeting on a letter then it is to make sure that it says exactly what we want it to say. And all that says in the housing letter. Okay, ban chief and council yo not on when a kind of new with party si cocktail enu si that either got a date or on wall having hand and yiso or on that then we're seeing that see how deal approval there no problem. Even in Shang Yade, but there's other reasons for that. There's dangerous wires at tossing and up bellow toad and at boring the uto wall, load bearing wall. It's a deho in a thing. I eat in a thing. How what you see her. So that's the one of the main reasons why the letter. Yeah, but hadn't a shadow sign and they'll say that it is. It's accountability on both sides. Well, there's a count or say that another letter to housing and chief and council because just like then a count rental say then in Gaza do picture not all see the hot in it then that's a deal sign and they had a damage deposit how damage deposit down he'll choose a hard scene it but I'm just explaining that situation. To older and it's on older road to walnut hill to seats route 80 then bagang kon at the dihla kon til na dani ya snihala and then the one says in lower picture na then he's shala john says in Tunisia snihalati. That's the kind of the thing we have to have. It's accountability on both sides. Bang at a tube on it's going to see housing bang ho clearly na I asked to need na so these are ni elu. That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. That it has to be done properly. Housing bang ho clear as so se de leo ha osha.
Yeah, one of the things Tori Sibagai I just want to no bericht Gary. It's still a lot of work in progress, and not that the previous council or anybody, messed up anything, but yeah, and that's what I'm hearing. I do. Sean at and it's very important to point out that Dene Bakun I la harel indet torli si babaho ala jan tornik is a, it's all right there. And don't I and Nedek Ani Benny say that's a day center industry and mining ba say Eiga Yas and Ohal Hulnyo.
Yeah. So industry and mining, I don't have a whole lot. Ani I know they're yeah with next gen. So the next IBA meeting he leo sign and all this other stuff. He then a hall meeting we ein learning. I hold their town on now yeah no but no hall deal any next gen hall deal we had a one informal meeting, one formal meeting. On the ILTQ, there's a binder right here that says IBA to outdoor I know and then you lawyer the national halai that with the direct that is in the IBA. Don't know then are new not yeah no then not need is in CRDN payment or something line the milestone payments but the how we're but directly so okay that's one other day they're how contracting office and all those other things then they direct is it that they see how on that see how on want to make an 8 day sa what clear chow how they're down to be no nilu want to see cha so club on the I team I IBA yeah do you know baza yeah, next meeting day June 6th. The new June 6th is the next one. I want to Monday LTU. Basho tanto asti hodi telu tanto ya da as hala da like tau disi ka. Side contract no hada CRDN Airmark health. Airmark is so you need the hakat is in it. Yeah, catering company. So a the hilu yeah, there's other companies that bahal deal it. Kung so kung babaho on a company that they connect day. Let's say, you know, uh, hydrovac or gravel al yuto and to trucking the whole trucking company to hal so joint venture connect day like trucking contract after they joint venture they'll see a company hal connect day. Begnai deal den het hier in een Sean ja de den het aan Jones in den slaan dat aan nou den het aan old deal is die nu hard old seal literally die de I den het die aan de deal nu hard deal see how they with every company that we have joint ventures through. So Airmark is one of them, and a catering to contractor and all these other contracts that they're coming up. Then we have an opportunity to have owner operator uh, contracts that maybe to we could have come in, not council highest tilo kontu harsine, but it's an opportunity to look at that, right? To look and see you guys can come in on contract or employment basis. So those are the some of the opportunities we met with other ones like Australia, Okapi company, new company that then on lease na dash new ay konto siga na te git del hada tinia. With next gen committees who see del si hadari dene ay del si hala because then benene when look at day nar then mining done de Saskatchewan government and time that day time these the boats and that deal phone that no to others cur. So no new it governments in the pay dilu John sa punon nas as under it on the pay dilila. So you got all yena didn't. So but long hal the road and akado so rufni na do ka don't daily see sneak because ministry held the DI lease registry. So I told them, I talked to NextGen, we talked to NextGen and said, well, then I don't get that net deal, don't get a pound out now, yeah, I got a Russian or no other is per committee, don't see community members who, yeah, okay, map, then we'll time, but ni other time, not all zero time, want to seek another, just niha committee, she was counted the yins are but good, then it's not, you get all young, and more people know where other cabins are than I do. Than Shantina Dilu, then nicht yeah. So that's one thing. Ministry hal yade, then it doesn't really suit us. You got all yant ilu, but applied it in this year. So that was one thing I didn't like that they're working on changing with us.
Yeah. In the zone that I saw Fort McMurray align now do project manager dali hinlio. Pretty much a similar situation lant edred Fort Mackay group of companies that it's in don't they're pretty much on every site. A lot of they're not just a contractor working for the big company doing. They pretty much their own I guess big company entity dahil is it ik SL not any then don't we have the opportunity ne ye don't in chow neha because it's it could be the next 30, 40 years la ho there's going to be trucks in and out once again aftana hui ala tough lake minu but do industry is going to be moving ahead anyways but going ahead no has canon to set them up with not just those trade jobs that only whether supervisor CEO any of those positions to training dali nunt asi the tani the no conti sia da tu alasi.
Yeah, the Fort Mackay and do things they're not down who yare and do in lie hotel and on the issue set along there and do who ya done this year. So I in a stancy, yeah, that do dahil sound and do pudi deal lisi. Because I'll say that again, that do that sini sound council had the race. So see CRDN a business known on the down the tampa then clear lo see. At the dahil sion at the say dahil yare then it not clear. Sign on tong kazo in tananin yao yare control contract on the some band then band members don't know it clearly and that's okay on down la so then I got harnessed out and band hosting source you can that day hold on the scenes are seen it but a majority of that stuff needs to go that way then like you said job science then I had that you wait with garbage narine you want to see how seen it then have own companies saying owner that deal then own contracts who want to know how adala na university for lifelong employment. 40 years, who they're telling you that this is one place, one mine. 40 years is a long time, right? It would be 70, 70 some, say, yeah, 75 or something. They're this mine. So that could be a lifetime opportunity for employment if they dahil side ay kon tu ha herski. Then an employee dadin herski na then sha employers dadin herski. So you can make those that money. Tampa na zo sheo then an abadala now and then tuhin na kon tuhin na. That's the ultimate goal kon tu nasti. Then you dan tu ya sneamer ya see. But yeah, a lot of that group of companies, then you can't do it, yeah, because currency assault or the flight company currency do it silo. So group of companies are all new to yeah different contracts and that deal it's in her own and they were owned by one entity, which would be the band. So again, it's unbanning clear, it's unbanning clear, it's unbanning clear bands and in clear, and then committee shoot and I want to bana de yal tiwi, it's unbanning tantuna na yeho, ansi bana de yal tire. So then I want to initially halay. That's the goal, si tantunas yung danobagan's time. Get ready for that and for people to have meaningful employment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's very good to point out. I mean, there's always going to be those labor jobs, but then they did it to encourage to maybe adult, programming because toward you see doing it, if you want to be successful and this make it be better each day, it's like zine don't usigen on during day, you take these opportunities, but a lot of training, even schooling, a lot of big things just happening. And of course in the future. Hon Nesedlant hon nets in the Sean and Clearwater boss.
So I got a few other things. Yeah, I need employment do no training on yeah, so soon, and then I'll move on. Yeah, then the would hold on no then I got to read yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Then I see song got a deal. Then na he da la nelu on to see chat. Then but a la near next in the zone. Then in the zone. As he said, then a sober had a radio, then what see her in the now is the time to see. I'd say there's a big opportunity up there. Then I'm trying with the as I'm going to let's see got a data. And then you have a right to do that as a band member or local community member, and you I know see going to election hala was silu is a bailu then they had do it. So I encourage people and ask that if you want to make a change, a positive change in your life, now is the time. And, the rosi na dahil sigat da clear jari ate and in the halhers ya na stanarsi. Und ilden and then best all round and that's it on a fine. Und hoa best all slim und dann hoa best all slim. That but just deal with it, they deal as I go shot, So we have a big opportunity that we need to do the need. So I'll leave it that part with that little message. Yeah, communication and information. I'll talk about a few things. Fire evacuation strategy meeting known as AHERS. The fire evacuation thing policy to protocols are only. But then after you come to then done all the as okay or account see so no the then some it's the only the get the negative all down on a time phone on the has that kind of stuff. So I demand here because hopefully it doesn't happen. It happened before. Then that's PAO sits in, so I the meeting only RCMP held meeting the other. We've been talking about that for a long time. Everyone's busy or whatever the reasons are that we haven't had those meetings. But to see what we can do to help through things, to help members. Then Jerosi and speeding and quads at night and we so don't think that your calls are forgotten about. That's a really big part in that thing. But another one is a media app that everyone knows what an app is. We have one being developed. It's been developed for a long time. Looks like that. I don't know if you can see that properly, but
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So if you go on your app store, it's on there now, and it's live, but I'm trying nobody kala now than to say has used it's one feather than to person by person status number by status number because it's your business, it's our business, it's Facebook at that with India is out like nothing against India, but can't try so confidential CEO media or social media so you can download it, you can look at it, you can create a guest profile for now. But it's going to be rolled out and maybe at the school if we don't have the band hall fixed. They're going to roll it out. Then job postings, 3D days, then it'll be posted on there. See postal in the phone and say, okay, there's CRDN posted at Hila, and you can open it up and you can look at it. That's what we're trying to do. That's what we're developing, and we have an app right now. So the last one that's on there, it says April 26th. There's one where there's
app.
Clearwater River Dene Nation sign. Yeah, I search or shot out on oh yeah, on the App Store or Google Play. So I just got a thing about this app actually. That's an update, the app interface design. So there's a one-time fee, I think. There's Apple ID registration. So I'm not going to go into it. Debbie can go into it when the time comes. But there's an app that we have developed, and like I said, she's working on that, and I had asked for an update on when we're going to have it out. So I don't have a date right now, but after these next couple of weeks of worth of meetings, and we should have a date, and then Noanigal, and she'll release that, and we'll release that. On top of that, the website, the design, I don't know about. We are a little bit late on that because CRDN.ca means it goes to some cleaning company, and CRDN.com. I don't know why or where that came from, but we'll have to figure that out. With Clearwater River Dene Nations, but we'll have to figure out how that looks. Maybe CRDN band or something, or I don't know. Or First Nation band, they'd probably go to, let's rock band or something. But there will be a website. Then see search on Yade, then it shows now. Chief and council phone numbers they are out. See the phone at Hare, then it should have it open. It should be easily accessible. The mailing address, with fax. I don't think we've made fax still, but that all the information should be open. So it took a while to get this stuff done, but like I said, we're doing it. Then you can download the app, right? It takes time, right? It takes some time to get this stuff open and out, but I think it'll be a good thing. Then we have our own thing that we can communicate and share with people. Talked about Mark. So there's been some talk about store. What are we doing? Where are we going? I don't have an answer for you yet about that store. We want to do something different because how it sits, we don't like it either. So we will talk about that store, and we are in talks with other companies to see what it looks like. If it's a good idea to go with another company to have a fully established store, with the branding and all that good stuff. But we haven't come to anywhere near an agreement with anyone yet. So that one we'll kind of leave alone for now because I don't really have many answers. The treatment center. I wanted to talk about that. I give a little bit of a shout out to the treatment center staff and administration because I've worked there before. Alay Nalay Treatment Center. So Alay Nal Tantu not die Kont Elesini. It used to be a little bit different before. It's a different way, but we're coming into a new age. So sinada new, asun den hakade hasinada ni, where sang kwan will say how but then 30 days, 28 days to so per radio to see CC at Siko in it, and it's a little bit hard, then better in Lalo we gotta change things up a little bit. So Lester's been looking for funding and working with Tammy and figuring out how to get things update things. The curriculum Zena programming. I want to talk about that and talk to them about that to see that it's up to date. Same old job. So there's a lot of investment, a lot of money to purchase things, canoes and outdoor activities, land-based activities. There's a lot of investment, and I've seen a lot of people coming out of that program on Ithelu, and it's very good to see. People are proud of that. I'm proud of that. Then Hutelu, then Facebook at the and it looks good on people, and it'll pay off, right? We want to, if you're applying for work, if you're applying for housing, if you're applying for different things, it's a good thing that I went to the treatment center. I've been sober for X amount of days or months or whatever. It looks good, and it's healthier too, right? Than because of drugs and alcohol. So good on you. I just wanted to give a shout out a little bit to the treatment center people there that are continually working on improving the programming there.
So good stuff, Sean. A lot of important things, a lot of information. Then it's und and it's a good way to come out. Then I held on.
So I know we're got a little bit. We've got a couple more topics. I think we'll try to make it as quickly as possible. But like I said, it's good. The people can get out. You can roll back. You can look at the video. You can talk to me, and we can go. Not just me. We can talk to chief and council, and go from there. So where are this? Okay. So current claims. So I gotta be a little bit careful with the current claims. I'm talking about legal claims. These are the kind of stuff that'll change up. But what I'm gonna say is public information anyway. It's on the internet, so it's not confidentiality or things like that. As long as I stay within. So there's M1 Twine. We talked about that. The controversial thing that today's June 2nd, and on NBC. NBC screwed up. NBC news story and it was June 1st, and we never once talked about paying anyone on June 1st. So that's the truth. That's that we have a statement from them, and we have a statement on our behalf that's what happened. That ammo and twine, that 1.2 million, that part one, or I would say, of that, we're not paying that out. We're utilizing that money within the bank. Then I could have people are going to get mad, and just hear me out. So 1.2 million there's many reasons for that. It's 1.2 million and it'd be maybe $300 between over 3,000 members. And then it's not even including the trust fund. Trust funds are cool. Trust fund, they'll see that $300 or something, right? New or something. I don't know how that looks. So treaty days, this canoe trip, St. Anne, then it's a day due, the housing initiative, then it's a it's a dead due to work, then it's a dead decent. That costs money, right? So that's it's on bonding clear so that's half the reason of the again, $6 million and over settlement it has to go to a vote. 6 million and under, chief and council can decide with communication to people about what happens to that money. Then and all this crap. That's none of that. That's somebody or some people that don't have anything better to do than the real reason behind that is investment. If I ask you, do you want to get paid $300 one time, or do you want to get paid $300 every year for 10 years? Makes more sense to take it every year for 10 years, doesn't it? That's where we're trying to go. Ay konto investment wholesale sina new. The next time balanghal the roto the uranium prices needs a not the roto side the daran town nanarin clear day the heart team has needed so it's in some binding clear. We need to make a business. We need to have a business. As soon some bahat aliha. So no the road the national you stick or earth announced not their alu gas the earth so the way it's hit on other low see. So there's that opportunity there that we're looking at. We haven't selected, but that's what I mean. To make a long-term investment. So that's some of the real reasons why we opted not to pay that money out. Again, part one lie. So part two is somewhat of modernization of treaty benefits. So under the treaty, so band members $5 treaty days day, and in that time, band counselors are supposed to get $15. When everyone else gets $5. That's how the government set that up. I didn't know this until more research. Chief day $25 was a non-knee, which is again still nothing. So those amounts don't $5, $5 don't someone like an 8-day like it's we're in negotiations with Canada to increase those amounts to account for inflation. So $5 had some but you can just buy a lot of stuff with that. Not today. So don't view don't do new every year then read not set 1899 it's in a diner clearly the review then it's not needed it's not need so we've got to go through court yet. Then every year inflation how it's not needed and it's not new because that's $5 a year no it's in the dot near. So I in 8-day. So ammo and twine the scene it's the same thing. That's another modernization of that ammo and twine every year honest and so they never changed since 1899 either. So there's two different ones that we're working at, ammo and twine and then the modernization of the treaty benefits. Another one is highway right of way claim. So Clearwater the highway Clearwater band reserve kalai one compensation diet in the sun right through the reserve government highway line. So had any to see well you're gonna run all that traffic through our highway, especially if you take on all the UC holiday, then what? Right? So claim they'll see how so with the modernization and all these with other claims, we don't have an update quite yet on it, but maybe a couple months today we probably have a better update on what's going on with those claims. But there's what was that, three or four? There's another one that at the new residential school class action lawsuit, and I think that there's two different ones. Residential school then individuals then but then new but dean late they are they're doing that right now, or they did that before. So that new. So this claim for the new residential school claim is about the old claims didn't compensate for loss of language and culture. It was, however, that was done. So this is another claim that isn't handled by our band lawyer. It's a different uh, law firm that's taking care of that one. Another one is uh, that isn't being handled by our band lawyers is boil water advisory class action. Again, it's online, right? You can look at these claims online. This the new residential school thing was showing up on my Facebook feed before. So the class action for boil water advisory is the band opted into that. There's a payment, I think, that's going to come from the government to us for this. And then individuals can put claims in for that, and other bands that people have been getting up to $2,000 a year for every year that the boil water advisory was active. The people have to live on reserve during that time, um, and of course they have to be status for them to be eligible. So there's a few things about that we have to talk about, and there's a few things for criteria. But 2023 kade konto si haldiu konto ya ya konto ya dana hadi elti ha ballahu hadar tande. um so again, there's about 3 or 4 or 5, there's 1 2 3 4 5 different claims that we're in the middle of right now, that there's good potential for. Some of them they're talking about yade then remote areas they hunt uban yeti. If you get more money if you're in a remote settlement that has boil water advisory. So we'll have to look at that. Like I said, don't quote me on some figures, but there's a lot of things, and it's not only it's some then a government then this is stuff that was supposed to be dealt with, that wasn't paid, that we're holding them accountable for. All their bands are doing it, and it's about time. And that's not the only one. Every last little detail that was signed on the treaty needs to be upheld.
Yeah.
And we're going to push and push and push whatever the compensation looks at. So the dossier on the boil water advisory off reserve day that the adult halo, you have to be on reserve with the boil water advisory on reserve. So we'll say that, and we'll figure out all the rest later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's doing a lot of good information. Once again, Sean, doing Zinike there at Ahu. See, it's very cool to have this opportunity. I know, see, myself, I'm a band member. Then I thought that'd be nice, just to kind of come out and to talk about these things. Doing Zinike on Nese, Honin, it's in a day, the Balau Leo, and maybe another day, sluta don't information session on it also.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, honestly, we're going on an hour and a half, right? And I got another topic, but the next session, how like new, and then we can go over more, because it's a long time to sit here and listen to me go on and on. So you're on to all you.
Yeah, and so masi choner soon then it's masi dani then do to have this opportunity instead of hearsay ni adilu, and to come out and then in a direct I have, because it's all sonlanat as a council and chief the hello, it's all comes from them. Don't you it's Erid Dilsid I yeah, Tinunt on another day, and I look forward to coming to Treaty Days this month for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, the Nabanunus Alo and Nessa that the Tini aren't easy and Balaulia.
Yeah, then nande den hayatinos alayare. Si soho diut ho then tant u tant as ni had snide. tant usik day. Then I had it Ashadaral than it hawk and Esther. Then I always talk about what it don't see on Esther. Then Ashadaral than it hast is on. Then tender out adal then hunt ut then bezini aha then a opportunity don't I sound to and same thing want to each then it has if fair treatment if it and it turns out the same people then and then well it's the best people that were in that process, so see what tender the positive all then hadal you seeking it dated then it has as the then a sadaral then no then to the done it then had it so but then no new then a tislinzer liu to yade then talk to me, talk to the other person, right? Because then I want to delay dawas ila then I going yet he had a zuna hala so kodot ne had an errors person. You want to know we'll do this more often, right? Apple see but the higher town then a condo radio gonna you see a job then you will do that. But I know these and this is what I want to do. Lots to then I get all high to Holland on this. But Willis and then mercy to seal and then that's honestly the mercy then a rose seal I would tell me.
Masi Cho, Sean, and another day, Tina Dinosa. Yeah, doing Dinege Selot in a Sean, Roy Sean Cheecham Adila, counselor, Liashin, Klein Nena, who there are a lot of stuff to take in. Employment training ban, finances, see kind of maybe a little bit of restructuring, not a lot of and don't see it's a lot of sni ailu. It's very important, then if somebody has the better um, product, it's only right to go with it, because the ban is just like a business. It's not just samba danalio and not that way, because we'll have nothing, nothing. It's that I think that M1 Twine, that's a good move to invest in Nadadeha, and a lot of then post secondary, not only myself, but a lot of then at the school not there, not delo that costs money and all that stuff. But it's at the in the future. You don't want to go, even though just because we got this big opportunity, see, we can't take it for granted. As you pointed out, and you're Cigar Lake Kukunti mines Darren Lyanda for like 5 years. They laid off 500 people. Our community can be in that situation too, right? So it's not just like this overnight until Sibig, and that's a day. So be patient, and questions, what's in it. Go to chief and council. Ja, die massi choner ho sin salot in a dunes in ege salon tarult in adli si willa janvier who in telas tours in La Loche, Saskatchewan, Clearwater River Dene Nation band member Heslu and dunes in ege Treaty 4 territorial. It's Treaty 6 in Nassau, Saskatoon this afternoon. So if you see me, buy me a coffee. Masicho.